Welcome to Lesson Plan 3, Sketching. Here we look at tips for sketching your designs using the Junk Kouture templates. I'm going to show you how you can use our mannequin templates to plan and sketch some fashion illustrations. This title page that showcases our 11 amazing mannequins is absolutely perfect for just doing quick sketches and trying to figure out and experiment with shape. You can print out our templates or even digitally download them if you prefer to work using an iPad or computer to make your illustrations. The absolute basics you would need for these drawings would be a pencil, a fine tip pen, or even just colouring pencils. When drawing the lines for your illustrations, it's great to make them as bold and expressive as possible. This not only will make your drawing a lot more dramatic, but will also make it easier to visualize your final shape. Here I'm using the Irish 2020 winner Synergy dress to show you as an example, and for the rest of the drawings I will also be using other past finalists. This was a very textured dress with a lot of intricate details, and as you'll see here as the drawing progresses, I'm not adding a lot of texture as sometimes it can be very overwhelming in an illustration. Sometimes it's great to just add an illusion of texture, and that will still give you the overall feel for the end product of a garment. There are so many different mediums you can use, and you don't even have to go into detail at all. As you can see in this drawing here, I just used acrylic paint to make the overall shape and added a few lines to show the vines for a headpiece, but it still gives you a feeling of how the garment will look in the end. Adding texture is another great way to create an illustration without going into a lot of detail. Here I just use baking paper or tracing paper to create a 3D effect for the skirt. And similarly here I showed a metallic garment just using aluminum foil. You could even use this technique working with your final material. In the finished piece for this garment, they had gorgeous stained glass effect panels in the skirt. A quick way to illustrate this is just using watercolors or even magazine cuttings. Another way to use watercolors, here you can see this floral effect was made just using dots of watercolor paint and then going in later with a fine point pen and adding in finer details. You can add texture to the drawing afterwards using magazine cuttings, paper, or your final material. Here for this floral piece, as you can see, I'm just gluing down dried flowers to give it a more 3D effect. If you want to create a more detailed garment, you can use watercolors, coloring pencils like I have here, or just regular markers. The important thing when you make a more detailed drawing is, as you can see here, all the details weren't completely added, but it still gives you an illusion of the textures that will be in the final garment. Creating a more detailed drawing like this can give you a vision of the overall completed look. There's no right or wrong way to create a fashion illustration. It can be detailed or as non-detailed as you like, but it's important to remember that making bold, expressive lines will always give you a great finish.